In response to the Bloodbath hoax, people launched the hashtag Biden's border bloodbath. And this is actually very, very clever. Currently, the number one trend in the United States on X is hashtag Biden's border bloodbath. The reason why it's so brilliant is that when people start searching for bloodbath, you replace the Democrat narrative with an anti-Democrat narrative. So taking control of those words. And that is
a real bloodbath, by the way. That is a real bloodbath.
Shifting the focus to a real problem instead of a fake one. But here's the fascinating thing. So first of all, I got my tweet in, just hashtag Biden's border bloodbath. But I want to give an honorable mention to Charlie Kirk, who deserves all the credit. I don't know if this was his idea, but I Google searched it. Charlie Kirk had a show on February 28th of this year titled Biden's border bloodbath comes to campus. And I was like, did he really get that? Because maybe that was his idea. I don't know. But, great timing. Great timing.
Great timing. Yeah, because we all know Trump said economic bloodbath about the auto industry. But when you look at what's happening with the border in 3 years and 2 months, we've allowed somewhere between 10 and 12. Let's be real. If the government's telling us 7.9, it's 10 to 12 because you got gotaways and they're not giving us the facts. How many fentanyl deaths? How many American citizens have been raped, beaten, or killed? How many have we lost since Democrats and liberals always say they're for these downtrodden people? Do you know that over 1,700 have died on the way here? How about the rape trees along the way where the coyotes hang panties of little girls in trees in Mexico? And that's my path to bring my children that I'm going to traffic into slavery. So it is a real bloodbath that Biden's created.
Yeah, this one refers to a literal bloodbath, whereas Trump was speaking figuratively.
Yes. So I commend whoever's doing that. Keep it up. Let's make it number one. Keep it trending.
Vice.com, for instance, they're gone. We're looking at more and more layoffs every day. There's a bloodbath in digital media. And it's been ongoing for a long time. So
CNN had a bloodbath. Remember, they closed down the big Atlanta office and laid off tons of people.
Oh yeah,
last year.
It just keeps happening.
Bloodbath.
So I'm actually feeling pretty good because the narrative machine their ratings are collapsing. Now we're hearing that it's CNN, even Anderson Cooper, and Wolf Blitzer may be on the firing block. Whoa. So yeah, they could be out soon.
They don't get to step down. They don't get to honorably resign or anything. They're going to get fired.
They're getting paid millions of dollars, and I have to wonder about this. How does CNN, I don't understand how these networks even made money to begin with. I suppose when you have a locked in audience, a guarantee because there's so few channels, but with the rise of the internet, it was obvious this was coming.
Yeah, Fox is the only one, even though they're down on some of their demos and some of their shows, 25 to 40%. They're still making big money because they have that locked in over 45, 50, my age bracket, conservatives around the country, in the Midwest and the South especially. So their advertising dollars are still decent. That's why they can afford to still give Hannity and Ingram and the rest of them millions. But it's dying on the vine too, right? Like I said, it's dying on the vine.
So the average age, I think, of Fox News viewers, a Fox News viewer is 62. CNN, I think, is 65, and MSNBC is 72. I could be wrong. I believe those are the numbers we pulled up a couple weeks ago. That means MSNBC is on the verge of total collapse. And I hate to be a dick, but 72, it's like 73.4 or something is the average male life expectancy. And a woman, I believe, might be like 76 or something, which means MSNBC's viewers are going to start shuffling loose this mortal coil. And look, it's not, I'm not trying to be grim. This is a natural part of all life and all generational cycles.
You're just stating facts.
Well, and this is why businesses pursue younger audiences, right? They need them to stay alive.
Yeah, the number
one
demo,
product.
You want the 25 to 45, or 35, really. You want that money. Nobody wants over 45, over 40 anymore. Everybody wants the 20 and 30-year-old money because that's the longevity money. You don't want somebody 50, 60, 70. Like you just said, Tim, we'll be dead soon. But thanks for that, by the way.
Well,
I just hit 50 this year.
And you got 20 some odd years, but
you're still valuable.
CNN,
to Fox.
Thank you.
CNN's got seven to 8 years on average before their average viewer is going to be passing away and no longer watching, and then that's it. They will have nothing. They will have no ratings.
Look, they should have been pro raising the birth rate, right? Because there's no one after them anyways, so everything is going to collapse unless you have people. The thing is, the tradition of watching cable news died away over time. And unless you can also convert people back to it, which you won't be able to, the internet is unstoppable in that manner, there's really nothing left to pursue there. They're just not agile the way they need to be as technology changes.
I don't think they can be.
Yeah.
I don't know that the stodgy, authoritative, talentless cable news networks could possibly adapt to modern contextual news delivery.
I agree.
I don't think it's possible.
Look at the Don Lemon. I mean, case in point, right?
That's the point that Elon made, yeah.
You cannot put Don Lemon you cannot have Don Lemon on a show like this hosting a 2-hour-long raw conversational show discussing news topics.
He wouldn't be able to hang. Look, he couldn't even understand what Elon was trying to convey to him.
He would push his earpiece in. What should I say now?
Yeah, right, to the EP, his executive producer. Is that okay? Is that a good question?
So theoretically, what these networks could do is try to create modern conversational information delivery, but I don't think they have the mental capacity to do so.
You see some guys trying to do it, right? Like case in point, Chris Cuomo gets fired from
but he's
CNN.
Gone. That's the thing.
Right. He went over to News Nation, which is owned by not Sinclair, Nexstar, the old WGN superstation, and he's trying to reinvent himself. Right. He had Tucker on the other day, and he does a lot of monologue right to the camera, trying to be conversational, trying to bring up common things that normal Americans talk about. Yet he's been in this bubble of a rich primetime news anchor at CNN for decades, also coming from the corrupt Cuomo family. I'm sure he'll hate me for saying that. Don't really care. Sorry, Chris, not sorry. But he's trying to reinvent himself now in his 50s to hold on to an audience. Now he's trying to speak directly to them and say, I'm one of you and I understand you and have a conversation. It's not working. The News Nation's numbers suck. Nobody's going to News Nation. I mean, until they canceled OAN, we were shooting up. We had a couple hours where we were beating Newsmax and we were getting close to some of the shows on Fox. And then they canceled us.
That's probably why.
Well, there's lots of reasons.
But
speaking truth about the election, the vaccines, COVID, the Biden regime. Yeah.
People like Chris Cuomo, they don't know how to deliver information in a way a younger audience expects. Joe Rogan does. And whether it was intentional or not, it's just raw. Elon Musk was saying this about Don Lemon. He thought it was going to be authentic. It's not. It's canned CNN stuff, which doesn't work. Right. So what's the point of even bringing that show to the platform?
And he begged for a bunch of goodies that were ridiculous. So that's why he fired his ass. But of course, he's playing it as he didn't like the way I did the interview. I asked tough questions, so he didn't keep our deal.
Well, they never signed that deal. But this is typical of this. So his talent agency, Don Lemon's United Talent, likely sent Elon Musk a ridiculous contract because this is how the industry works. An agency will be like, oh, you want a contract from us? They will send you the stupidest thing because they're hoping to slip one past you. They're hoping that Elon would be like, oh, sure, I guess. And
wasn't it $8 million a year with a $5 million signing bonus? He wanted one of the new cyber trucks. He wanted first class tickets and a hotel suite for him and the husband to go to Vegas.
This is the contract I also gave Tim. Just so everyone
did Tim sign it? Did you get that?
Well, I'm still waiting on my cyber
negotiations.
The contract that I got from one of the big agencies was, I think, like 70 pages long. No, maybe it was 100 and something pages long. And which, I mean, it's an insane amount of money to have that redlined. And so I read it and I threw it in the garbage. And this is one of the big agencies that handles news and media, entertainment, TV shows. Basically said that they would own everything. And then they would decide what they gave me. This was a long time ago. This was back in like 2013. And then in 2018, I had another deal with another big distribution network. And they also sent me a large contract for no reason with a bunch of ridiculously verbose, nonsensical language that did nothing but fluff, probably so I wouldn't want to read it. But it included things like, we now own all of your companies. You sign away all rights and ownership and claims, blah, 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 blah. And so I emailed them back and I was like, what, why did you send me this? And they said, this is totally normal for business.
Shit, yeah.
And they said,
throw him under the bus, name him. Who was it?
Send it to your lawyer. He'll redline it and send it back. And I said, you want me to spend $5,000 so I can start negotiating with you? Send me a real contract and we'll talk. And they were like, if this is normal business, then I told them to go F themselves. And I stopped. That was it. I'm like, if this is how you do business, you're wasting my time.
You know what I did, Mr. Herring? Handshake, 1-page contract. 1-page contract, handshake.
Nice.
That's what we did. We do it every year. 1 year, up, re-up. I don't do multi-years. There's no lawyer language for 170 pages. It's, there's your pay. Here's what you're expected to do. Here's your medical benefits. Sign on the line. That's it. Mm-hmm. I get to say what I want. I get to do what I want. I mean, when I was hired there, we call him Mr. H. Mr. H was like, we've only been doing this about 10 years. How long have you been doing this? Over 30. Well, then you know more than us, so go do it. That was it. You don't get that at CNN. I've got friends that work at Fox, CNN, not MSNBC, ABC, NBC, the big ones in New York, the big old three. And I talk to them and it's like, there is so much corporate control. As you said, Tim, these contracts are ridiculous. They own them. They own their image. They own the rights to everything they do. And you better toe the line and say what they want you to say or your ass is out. Look at Tucker.
But that's the thing about these hosts is they sit there, they read a prompter and they go, huh? So when you take Don Lemon out of that controlled environment and sit him down with Elon Musk, and Elon Musk tries saying something very simple like, if X, then Y, he goes, huh?
Yeah.
But Y didn't happen. I'm saying X is happening and it will likely lead to Y.
it, right.
And he goes, but it didn't happen. And it's like, oh, geez, dude.
You're so right there. They are canned and you'll see them all the time holding the ear because that executive producer is in their ear telling them. You'll see Maddow even do it. Oh, my producer's telling me that they're feeding them things. They can't think for themselves any longer. They live in this bubble in Manhattan. The car brings them to the MSNB studios, takes them back to their penthouse or their house in the country. They've got their millions. They have their slaves that wait on them because that's what they are. They got servants, even though they act like liberals and, oh my gosh, reparations for black people. Yet they've got people they throw around, treat like dog shit. I've talked with some of these folks who work as an assistant or a makeup artist or a dietitian for these rich ass news anchors and hosts. They treat normal people like shit. They're in a bubble. They have no clue what's really going on in this world. And that's why I think people gravitate towards our network and my show as well, because I throw a few shits in now and then, and I've been dead ass broke, and I'm a regular dude. I serve my country. I've got a child I'm trying to raise in this crazy ass world. And when I speak to folks now, I don't do the broadcasting voice and read the prompter like I did for 30 years. I just talk to folks. That's what people are starving for. Just talk to them and tell them the damn truth.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.